Hi! Are you sitting comfortably? Then I will be telling you the Robin family stories with me, Nanny. Shall we begin? A special visit. Captain Rock Pippet and his 4 little friends, Roly, Rosemary, Richard, and Rowena Robin, were on their way to see his old shipmate, Petty Officer Puffin. When he was at sea, the captain told them, he was a ship's carpenter, and a fine carpenter too. Many's the figurehead he's carved for ships. He's promised to make a little one for Alpha one day. Petty Officer Puffin was in his workshop when the little Robins and Captain Rock Pippet arrived, and there was a lovely smell of wood and fresh paint. "Come you in, my dears," he called. "I knew you were coming today, so I'm making you something to take home with you. It'll remind you of this year's holiday at Sandhopper Bay." He worked away for a long time at something on the bench, but the little Robins had no idea what it was. "Right then," said the petty officer at last. "Here she is, all ready to set sail." And he held up a little model of Alpha, complete with her red sails. "Oh!" squeaked the little Robins together. "She's so beautiful. Thank you very much indeed, Petty Officer Puffin." They stayed in Petty Officer Puffin's workshop until it was lunchtime, and they looked at all the beautiful things he had made from wood. They also met his grandchildren, Peter and Petronella, who scampered in with their grandfather's lunch packet in a little basket. "I like a picnic myself," said Petty Officer Puffin, still smiling. "And I expect you do too." "Oh, yes," replied Rowena, "but we're not having one today. We're going sailing instead. I'm going to guide the boat." And that afternoon she certainly did, along with her brother Richard and her cousins Roly and Rosemary. She made believe she was sailing the 7 seas. Did you enjoy that story? I hope so, because I have one more little story for you now, and it's called Monsters and Mermaids. When the little Robins look for some unusual sea creatures. Are you ready? Yes. The 4 little Robins were very excited. Captain Rock Pippet had promised to take them out in his little boat, the Alpha, that afternoon. "I'd like to have a boat of my very own," squeaked Rowena, "and then I could go sailing all around the woodlands." "I don't think a boat the size of the Alpha would fit on the streams in the woodlands," Richard told her kindly. "Well," his baby sister replied, "my boat would be a very tiny one." "And what would you call her, my dear?" Captain Rock Pippet asked, and after thinking hard, Rowena told him she would call her little boat Mermaid. "That's a really pretty name," he said, "and who knows, we may be just lucky enough to catch a glimpse of a mermaid when we're afloat today on the boat." Rowena thought it would be lovely to see a mermaid sitting on a rock with pearls round her neck and with a mirror and a seashell comb for her flowing golden tresses. But the other Robins decided it would be more exciting to see a sea monster with great shining fins and a long tail covered in green scales. "Well," said the captain, looking thoughtful, "you may not be so lucky. Sea monsters like a lot of room because they are so big, and they prefer to swim in the open sea. Sandhopper Bay is a bit on the small side for them. We may see a baby monster, said Richard hopefully. But his little sister wasn't too sure about that. She still wanted to see a mermaid. Well, promised the captain, if we don't see either, I'll tell you some stories about mermaids and monsters tonight after supper. You're like the one about the little mermaid who used to travel the sea in a chariot of seashells drawn by her own special sea monster. The 4 little robins thoroughly enjoyed their sailing in the Alpha on the sparkling summer sea. But they didn't catch even a glimpse of a mermaid or a monster, no matter how hard they looked. All the same, Rolly, Rosemary, Richard and Rowena didn't worry too much. They had the captain's stories to look forward to that evening round the fire after supper. And I hope you will look forward to more stories from me. This story was read to my children when they were very small, and my mother, who has just passed away, put them all together in scrapbooks for them. And that is what I shall be reading from again next time. So lots of love to you all, and until next time, shall we just finish with a little song about some birds? My birds up here are budgigars, not robins. Robins are the little birds with red breasts, but my little birds are budgies. But we are birds in our little rhyme now that we will finish with. Can be any birds, but their names are Peter and Paul. Are you ready? Sit your birds on the wall, okay? 2 little dicky birds sitting on a wall. One named Peter, the other named Paul. Fly away, Peter, fly away, Paul. Come back, Peter, come back, Paul. Shall we do that again and you try to join in this time? Ready? 2 little dicky birds sitting on a wall. One named Peter, the other named Paul. Fly away, Peter, fly away, Paul. Come back, Peter, come back, Paul. Do you have 2 dicky birds sitting on your wall again now? Yes. Say goodbye to them and until next time. Thank you for listening.